Right, are we live? Hello, 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 hello. If you are here, we are live. This is, if you don't want to know, or if you want to know, this is the Fast Track FBA weekly YouTube live. Just kind of supporting you in your businesses. And if you've got questions, please, please, please drop them down below. Hopefully, you should be able to hear me fine. If anyone can hear me, just say, hi, Tom, I'm here. I can hear you. I'm going to quickly check that I'm actually live in the Facebook group. Give me 2 seconds. Just going to check there. Oh my God. And if anyone's dropped me a message in the Facebook group, I'm really sorry. Like, today is super busy. Mondays is always a super busy day. I think it is in anyone's business. So let's just check. Are we live? We are live. We are live. We are live, everyone. Drop your comments below. Cool. Tom's just commenting on his own thing. Voila. Cool. Hello. So Jack just said, hello, just came on now. Fantastic. Hey, Jack, how are you getting on? How is life? I do just want to check quickly that. Obviously, I'm live on YouTube. I think I'm probably live on YouTube because guess what? Jack's actually talking to me right now. So Jack, obviously good to see you. I'm live on YouTube. Let me know if you've got any questions down below or anything that I can help with at all. My phone is just being really slow. It's like a Google Pixel 6. The 8 is coming out soon, so it shows you how far behind the times I am. I think it's more the fact that I have I'm too busy trying to focus on the business than buying the new iPhone. So we'll see how that goes. Fast Track FBA, are we live? So they're good. A Bing has said hello. Hey, A Bing. Adam has said hi. Jack says good. Looking forward to tuning in this other time. Jack, let me know if you've got questions, what you've got, what questions they are. Obviously, I can answer them and support you. Yeah, we are live on YouTube. Woohoo. So that's good. So let's kind of get started. I will just kind of go through, by the way, I think while you're kind of dropping any questions down below, I will share one kind of thing that we're doing. I shared it in my weekly update as well this week, but I'll share it quickly just with you guys. One thing that we're doing, which I think might be quite helpful, it's a new process that we're implementing, which I think will kind of be very helpful, especially if you've got VAs, but if you haven't, even if yourself. So one thing that we have done this week, we like to create what's known as like plays within the business, and plays are kind of like American football, whereby it's like, how do you get to the touchdown? I'm not a big American football fan at all. I think I've watched it about 3 times in my life, but the idea is the concept. So the play is, how do we spot deals which are going to crash, and also how do we spot deals which are not going to crash and we should have gone deeper? So the play, and to put it simply, is 7 days after we've purchased a deal, because it takes about 20 days for our stock to arrive in Amazon USA right now. So if you're a bit less, it's fine. So 7 days after we purchase the deal, we'll do this as like a time block in the calendar, 1 hour per week. So we'll basically just go, cool. So we'll go back to the deals last week. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to go through our buy sheet. We're going to click on the links of all the deals, so load up one at a time. We're just going to go to Amazon. We're going to look at the keeper chart, and we're just going to look at what's going on with the keeper chart. And specifically, we are going to be looking at the new seller count. So since the time we purchased it, because we already know that we've done the deal analysis, it's probably a good deal. Well, hopefully it is because we bought it. But what we're going to do is go, is that new seller count going up? Or is it going down, or is it staying flat? Now, depending on that new seller count over the time period since we purchased, could be 1 week, it could be 20 days in our case. So we're going to do this at 7, 14, and 30. So we're going to go back to all the orders. So like 3 hours worth of work. I've got a lot of staff, so I can do this. But the idea is looking at that new seller count. And we're just going to load up. So it takes about an hour. Quickly click on all the, click on one at a time, go through it all. And if we notice the new seller count is going down, then generally we might go, should we buy more? Because if there are less sellers now than there were when we purchased, odds on that it could continue going that way. So we might be like, actually, we haven't really sold it yet, but we might want to buy some more. But on the inverse, if the new seller count is going up and continues to rise since the date we purchased it, and obviously you want to draw a mental line on that image, then what we are going to be looking at is saying, should we change our repricing? Now, right now, our repricing is set to 25%, so that it could be that it was like 28%, for example, when we bought it, or 30%, but it might be that because the new seller count's going up, it could still be 28% right now, or 30%. But what we generally know is that as the new seller count goes up, and if it continues to rise, that price will come down. So by the time our stock arrives in Amazon, it could be a problem. So what are we looking to do? We're looking to basically say, when we see that, what we're not going to do is change, we're not going to go crazy, but what we might do is change the rule that the product products on. So it might be the case that instead of saying minimum 25% and use our AI repricing on Seller Snap, what we might actually do is use like a 0% ROI match buy box, because what we've generally tend to see is that these products where the price is going, the new seller count is going up, is the fact that, you know, within a week or two, the buy box price starts coming down. And by the time our stock lands, it could be at like 24% ROI. So that means that we just hold for a really long period of time. Whereas I should have just sold at 24 because the 1% reduction in ROI rather than waiting 6 months to sell is like a really stupid. So that's one thing we're looking at doing, and we're testing that. So that's a play, should we say, that we're doing now. It takes 1 hour a week for all the product, 300 products that we're doing, and hopefully like you can see how the practical application of that is being done, and it's quite simple. So I hope that makes sense. Let's going to jump through some questions. Jack, let me know if you liked that. If anyone else is joining, let me know like if you liked the play. We have lots of these little plays. We have another one called More Money, More Problems, which I quite like. And if you want to know about that one, drop a comment down below and I'll tell you what that one is as well. That was what we developed 2 weeks ago. So Akil K, hey, how to remove IP complaints? Invoices are genuine, but Amazon won't accept. So annoying. So do a couple of things. Number one, make sure your invoices are actually genuine. Just because you think they're genuine doesn't mean they are genuine. So generally speaking, what does this mean? It means that the supplier, the supplier has to be within the EU for the European Union. Like if you're selling in the UK and you've got the IP complaint from the UK, it has to be from the EU. But if you're selling in the US, it's got to be from the American marketplace, like a supplier from that. If your supplier is genuinely from China, like they probably won't accept it. Like it doesn't, like you can't do anything about that. So you need to make sure that your actual supplier is legit and their address is located on the invoice. So it'll be like billing address, which is your address, and then supplier address, which is their address. Their address should be within the same continent as you are. And then in addition to that, you sometimes you find that Amazon are just like, I think they probably have 10 seconds to look at each invoice. That's it. Like it's like nothing. So what can I recommend is if you submitted it and it is like legit, then sometimes it might be quite useful just to highlight certain parts that they're looking at. So what are we looking at? So if you're doing IP complaints, it might be like the supplier. By the way, like if they reject, you need to find out what the reason for rejection is. Is it the fact that the invoice is not legit? So then I would annotate it if that makes sense. Or it could be the case that they can't trace the supplier back. They don't believe the supplier is authentic that you purchased from. So then you have no comeback, unfortunately. So just make sure you're doing the rejection. Most of the time it will be like invoice is not, please submit a correct invoice. And it's basically they haven't really looked. So you're gonna have to like draw on it. So get like PDF editing software or like PDF annotation software and just draw on it and say bang, bang, bang. And like highlight the supplier, highlight your name, highlight the brand name of the product, make sure the brand is clearly defined. Like if your invoice, if you're getting an IP complaint for Lego item number 15796, for example, and your invoice is it just says Lego toy, like it might not work because it doesn't specifically say the right product. You got to take mindful of that. You might have to go back to the supplier, but like doing all these things is a nightmare, but you do have to. And by the way, like I will say, you just got to keep going back and I'd annotate and do it all. But I would just also add to that in the fact that my own business in the UK, we had $60,000 or pounds worth of Nike stock. We got gated one day, and then we kept trying to get, I think it was gated or IP. I think it was maybe IP complaint. But we kept sending it back, and they basically said to me, you are, the invoices are fake. And I was like, please, if you think they're fake, please suspend me. Because at the time I had like £160,000 worth of lending. I was like, you can just take the stock because that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sell it and pay off the debt. But then we kept submitting, and eventually they did it about 15 times. It was horrendous. So that kind of worked. But it does take time. I hope that makes sense. So Akil, let me know if that helps down below. Hamza, hey Hamza. Hi sir, I hope you are doing great. I am, thank you very much. I'm just going to start OA after giving my OA service to differences marketplace clients. Any advice for me to get new goals? Yeah, just work hard, that's it. Honestly, I hate to say it, most people don't realize that actually business is hard work. You've got to work hard at this stuff, people. It's got like, that's it, you can't do it. Alex Omozi talked about it. If you want to start anything, most people have good plans, but they have shitty execution. Focus on the execution. And what do I mean by execution? I mean, they don't try for long enough. So specifically, if you're going to start sourcing, for example, most people do it for like 3 hours and like it doesn't work. So my advice for you is if you're going to try anything, you should immediately just commit to saying, I'm going to do 100 hours. That's it. 100-hour block. And if it doesn't work after 100 hours, fine, I'll stop. But if you do 100 hours and it still doesn't work, well, you're probably not doing it right and it's probably not going to work. But if you are getting some kind of incremental progress, fantastic. But most people do 1 hour, they can't find a product and they say this doesn't work. So they just don't try for long enough. So do a 100-hour time block. Hope that makes sense. My screen apparently is going thing. So Adam, enjoyed your current video of 200 to 100,000 pound journey. Oh, did it? Did you enjoy it? Let me know what you liked about it, Adam. Honestly, it's a really good, like, I really enjoyed doing that video as well. Also as well, like, I do a lot of videos around the UK or the US. So it's nice to come back to the UK. And there's another guy who I'm trying to interview right now is doing like 4 million, I think, in the UK. I'm just trying to get him on the channel. Like, we talk quite a lot, but I'm like, come on, man, like, give me some time. So I hope, Adam, let me know what you liked about that interview. And obviously if there's anyone else I should interview, please let me know. Jack Lewin, Jack, that's really interesting. Definitely going to implement that play. Sounds like a great way to look at indicators as a why a deal has got more or less saturated and improve spotting those indicators. Yeah, I agree. If I talk about like indicators, like one of the key indicators I look at within my Amazon business is, especially when you're doing deal analysis, is like one of the key indicators, other than like, is it profitable ROI, is how much stock is on the listing in months. So if I give you a really good example, if you are going to, she said the listing's selling 50 units per month. Now, if I go into the stock listing and I count up all the FBA sellers and look at their total stock, if I find that it's got 1 month worth of stock, I promise you that product is going to be probably, the buy box is going to probably increase over the next month, not decrease. If it's got 2 months worth of stock, it'll stay stable, and 3 months worth of stock, it'll probably start to wobble. And if it's 4 or 3 and above, it'll start going down. Like 6 months worth of stock, I'll put some very good money on it that price will start crashing within 2 weeks. Why? Because everyone starts looking at their prices the same way. Like, oh, my stock's not selling. What do we do? And we're like, you literally just go through that. You know, like they're just going to start crashing the price because they're not getting buy box sales, and as a result, the price of the product starts declining. So one of the key indicators that I look at within our business when we're doing sales analysis or deal analysis is number, or how much stock is FBA stock is on the listing in proportion to the monthly sales. So, and the key metric is if it's over 3 months, I'm probably going to sit on it for like 2 weeks, a month, and just reassess in 2 weeks to a month and see what's gone on. If the prices remain stable and the sell-through rate's gone through, okay, fine. But if not, I'll probably not bother, because you'll probably see that more and more stock will come on. It'll probably be on a leads list. But if the stock is down to 1 month worth of stock, it's selling 50 per month and there's 50 units on the thing, I'll probably go pretty deep, because I'm like, damn, this thing sells and there's no one on it. Like, that price is either going to go up or I can start taking a lot more sales. So that's, I think all the metrics we look at, that's probably the key one that no one really talks about. So amount of stock on the buy box. I hope that makes sense. Jack, I hope you like that one. Jack said, I'd love to hear about the more money, more problems. So I'll give you an example of what more money, more problems is. So more money, more problems is another play, and again, American football play. Guys, if you've got questions, drop them down below. Obviously, I'm here to help. So more money, more problems is, okay, last year in the UK, I'll tell you a funny story. We had so much credit available to us and capital available to us. I was spending, just in the UK, this is, by the way, £100,000 per week in my Amazon business. I still had £350,000 in the bank account at all times at the end of the week, which was incredible. And I couldn't spend it quick enough. So I had so much cash. And what did I do? I started putting massive amounts of pressure on my team to spend buy products. And what happened, we were just buying rubbish. Like, I won't lie, I shut down the UK business. But what did I learn from that situation? I learned that situation that there are going to be times in your business whereby you have surplus capital and you just cannot deploy it. A lot of time it would be about using a VA, hiring a new VA, fantastic. But sometimes you just have too much capital. So we have the more money, more problems play, which is a play that we created, which really helped us out, or which kind of something that we're running right now. And the strategic goal is you have a list probably of 10 ASINs, maybe 20 tops, no more than that. These are ASINs whereby the ROI is not great. but ultimately you want to keep pushing it up. And I'll explain why in a minute. They are products that sell really fast. I mean, like one of them we got right now is 400 units per month. The ROI is not great. It's 20% ROI. Now, like to other people that might be really good, but in the USA it's not great. So 20% ROI, and we know the return rate is incredible. Like to give you an idea, in 450 units of sales, we've had 3 returns. So the return rate is nothing. So, but we also know the considerations behind these types of products are, number one, super fast selling, preferably over 200 units per month in the USA. Return rate's got to be super low. And generally, the buy box is going to be pretty stable. Like we know the sales velocity of this, we know the buy box. Obviously, no Amazon, no brand, no IP warnings. So that's that. Now, the other point about it is that you know that you can buy it. It could be even like 10% ROI. It doesn't really matter. But the idea is that you can buy it from the supplier, you can ship it into Amazon quick, and it will sell through pretty quick. And then you can get the money back out again. And so you have 10 of these ASINs or 20. And the idea is at the end of the week, when you're on Friday about midday, and you're like, man, I've got so much cash left to use. And for the last few weeks, I've had so much cash in the bank. What do I do? Well, you turn to your more money, more problems list, and you say, I've got more money, and so I want to start getting some capital back or get some return on it. And because you're not able to find enough deals, and you don't want to put the pressure on your team to go buying rubbish deals, you just know that here are some deals which are generally like massive volume, massive amounts of cash can be dumped into them really easily. They can take that and you can churn it very fast and get the money out, and it's very stable, and it's not, you don't really have to learn anything because you've learned it all already. So the net result is that you just go and drop, like 10 of them, you drop sometimes you're paying interest on it, or you're like, what am I going to do with it? You're like, I just want to tie it up into something and get some money back, but I know that isn't going to get me much profit, like huge, but also as well isn't going to cause massive overheads, returns, isn't going to cause the IP complaints, and it moves really fast to the supplier and it works. Interesting enough, that supplier gets double Amex points. So I'm like, woohoo, extra flight points. So those more money, more problem pays are about where we are strategically putting in capital reserves, so that we're not like, go hire another VA, go hire another VA. And like, don't get me wrong, I should be sitting here going, buy a VA because I sell them. But that's not the point. The point is the fact that we are trying to think of strategic ways whereby we can maintain the operation of the business, but also as well deal with different times of year where we have a little bit too much cash reserves, and perhaps maybe we want to just deploy that because it's better than that in the bank. Or you even have credit available, which is your credit card. And if you don't know, by the way, like when we talk about cash reserves, I'm not really looking at cash in the bank. I don't think about that. We always look at what's known as the available spend. And if no one knows, do look at my Fast Track FBA cash flow sheet. You can go to Fast Track FBA blogs and just go to cash flow. It costs $40, but it's an amazing sheet. It basically, you put in all your balances, you put in all your credit cards, even the wholesale supplier credits, you put in all your expenses, and it will give you just one number at the end of at the very bottom. It's a 4-stage process that tells you this is how much money you can spend without going bankrupt. And that's the one number we look at. And every time I look at that and I'm looking at how much have we spent of that each week, and if I have a lot left, we'll be like, cool, let's deploy the more money, more problems. So I hope that makes sense. Let's go through. Jack, let me know if that helps you out. Erica, any tips on how to source better? Yeah, there's a video, just go onto my YouTube channel. I could really recommend this. There's a video I just released on about 2 weeks ago called Top 100. Look at that. It's like the strategy that I'd really recommend. So if I took it very high level, number one, you're going to start off with all the suppliers, like call it 100 tops. So think about Amazon. So first of all, think about, you do not want to just be sourcing generally. It's a bad idea. So number one, you want to be choosing a category, and ideally you want to do a subcategory. If I'm going to do the classic one that everyone talks about, we're going to do clothing, fashion, we'll do sneakers, and then we'll do, and then within that category, you probably want to choose 2 or 3 brands, maybe 5 that you want to go for. Those brands should have no Amazon, the brand shouldn't be selling, and they should have no IP complaints either. So Nike is the classic one that everyone does in the US. So Nike, sneakers, voila. Now the idea is that now you know your brands, you now know the category that you're sourcing from. So now you go take my top 100 supplier list and you focus just on all of those suppliers, and you go, which ones do sneakers and which ones do Nike? And then you just filter down for those. And then what you do is you spend all your time trying to find the deals in those. And you're looking for place orders, maybe not great, but you're trying to find out which ones cancel, which ones allow me to put more orders in. Can I get discount codes? Can I sell to newsletters? And all you're doing is focusing your time. Why? Because every single product, whether it be DIY beauty, Nike sports, Nike shoes, you're gonna make mistakes, and every time you make a mistake, you have to learn from it, and basically each mistake costs you money. So if you focus down, the amount, like, you are unlikely to repeat the same mistakes too many times, because you're only doing one thing. Whereas if you go really wide, you're going to have to make lots and lots of mistakes to learn all the different mistakes in the different categories. For example, sneakers has like variations. It has sizes, colors. Even some sneakers have like different widths of the sneaker, and these are quite hard. And the return rate on them, and the male and the female, starts getting really confusing. Even if you're talking like power tools, like this brand has problems with their, like, 1 year. Say for example, you go really deep on one type of power tool, and then you realize that while the power tool warranty might be 1 year, they all seem to break at 1 year and 2 months. But Amazon, because being Amazon, lovely as they are, they decide to refund everyone their money even up to 2 years. Now, who's left with the difference? You are. You are the person who has to take the hit on these power tools and now lost their working, because Amazon's gone outside the warranty and you're the one who's to take it. And that's going to cost you money. So again, focus, and that's going to improve your sourcing and allow you to get better. Hope that makes sense, Eric. Adam said, I like the fact it is possible to make progress starting with a low investment risk, and also being that 40 isn't too old. Good luck to the chap trying to make the 9 to 5. I know, it's good. By the way, you think 40 is too old. It's not. 40 is like nothing. If you look at the grand scheme of things, how many businesses have actually started at the age of 40 and gone to be very successful? Like, if you are 40 right now, I think you have so much opportunity ahead of you. I really do. Like, look at, Gary Vee talks about it. I think it's absolutely incredible. So yeah, really, really good, Adam. It is felt real accountability, consistency, hard work, and faith. Yeah. You've got to be consistent, hard work, 100 hours, things. I love it. Did you say that you shut your UK operations? Yeah, I did. No, like, my God, I put a post out in like May. Yeah, so we shut down the UK. So a couple of reasons why I shut down the UK. Like, there's a big post. You can read that if you want. But a couple of things is, one bit of advice I'd really offer to anyone is do less, but do what you do better. So what do I mean by that? Is the fact that we did not have these plays within my business when they're UK, because I was too busy just trying to manage all the staff. We weren't getting better, we were doing more. And I had 88 staff across 3 companies, probably doing close to we're doing over $5 million in annual sales. It was incredible. But the problem came was that the quality wasn't there. And when you're doing volume with leverage of people and capital, if you don't have good quality, that leverage can easily go the wrong way. And what we started to notice was that over the last 3 years, the UK margin started declining. So the net result was that I know where this is going to go if I keep going. And then also as well, for me to fund the business, Amazon's loans kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. To give you an idea, we started off with 1,000, 5,000, 25, it was 58 or something. Then it was 115. Then it was 186, and it was 220. Then it went to 280. Then it was 320. Then 360. I had an offer at 683,000 pounds. 683,000. Did a really good video about it. If you understand anything about financing, and I'll say this to you right now, if anyone is right now thinking about doing financing, if you can, try, for the love of God, to try and get what's known as a line of credit. Like, a line of credit is so much better than even the Amazon loans. Even if the line of credit is twice the interest rate of the Amazon loans, take it, because there are you only actually pay interest on what you use with a line of credit, whereas an Amazon loan, you are always paying it. Also as well, if you take the total amount of the loan and you work out the interest over the course of the year, it doesn't look too bad. But what you don't realize is you don't get to keep that money over the course of the year. It gets paid down, so you're only actually using half of the capital in reality over the course of the year. And a line of credit, you can keep the entire line of credit for the entire year. So even if the interest rate is double, I would still take it. And also as well, operation cash flow wise, Amazon loans just really they're a real Okay, I think I'm back. Sorry. I think my internet played up there. Can you see me? Let me just check. I think my internet played up. Is like, no. Are we still alive? Everyone's like, he's gone. Can you still hear me? The feed keeps crashing. No. Let me have a look. Let me see if there's like maybe my internet isn't as strong as we think it is. Let's kind of have a little look. Can you see me now, Adam? Are we back? Are we still live? Yeah, back. Fantastic. Can I go play? 1 second. Yeah, we're live. Okay, cool. I'm still here. Fantastic. Cool. Right, cool. Sorry about that. Let me kind of go through. I've got it. Thank you. Sorry for everyone who's joining and crashing. I will need to get faster internet. If you want to know, next week I'm in Colombia, so maybe the internet might be a bit better. Fingers crossed. Right, let's go through. Elliot said, with regards to your fast-selling items, do you know you can replan how long an ROI would go from 15 and even lower? You've got to do the math. It all depends on the product. So, you know, if you're replanning fast-selling items, like you've got to understand the return rate. You've got to understand, like, by the way, like fast-selling items is a like a misnomer in the fact that it doesn't really work. Like because fast-selling items are two key metrics. One, which is listing sales, and then it's two, the number of sellers on the listing competing for the listing. For example, if you have a listing selling 100 units per month and there are 10 sellers, you know, they're all going to get roughly 10 units per month each. But you can have another listing doing 20 units per month and there can be one seller. That means they're going to get 20 units per month. So why we talk about 100 being faster than a 20, it's once you factor in competition, it doesn't work that way. So what you need to really understand is like, what is the general competition on this? And you'll look at that through the new buy box or the new seller count. But these are considerations that you look at. And when we do what's known as our more money, more problems play, that's something that we're looking at as well. That's really, really important. So I definitely think about that. Would I go even as low as 10 to 15? Yeah. But by the way, the considerations I would take is number one, the supplier shipping time to Amazon. Number two is the return rate. And number three is like, how quick can I sell it? Because it might be the case that I have more money, more problems. But instead of buying a month's worth of stock, I just buy a week. And then at the end of the week, if I've still got a lot of cash left, I'll dump some more in that. Cool. And then next week, if I've got more money left, dump some more in that. Maybe I'll just keep topping that more money, more problems up to a certain level to say, when we've got lots of cash, we'll just top that back up to a 1 week supply. Like whatever I sold, I'll sell again. That's it. We keep stopping it. So that's the way we think about it. And, you know, we can definitely do that. So I hope that makes sense. Let's kind of go through. Akil, are the leads you share on Fast Track FBA the same ones you buy? Wouldn't that cause saturation problems? My God, do you think like, I get your point. We used to do that. So UK, no, not at all, because I don't sell in the UK anymore. And in the USA, yes and no. We have two separate teams. So we have one team, which is my Amazon business, and one is the leads team. And the leads team, we might buy some of the deals, but not that many. My US business, we buy a lot of very specific products, whereas the lead service is quite generalized. So we really, really, really niche down and focus, whereas on the lead service, they'll go a lot wider. And again, like it's not to say that the lead service is bad, not at all, but I do think for you, when you're sourcing, you really want to be like thinking about using a lead service, find some products, and then start finding the ones that you like out of those products and niche down those suppliers, the brands, categories that are going to work for you. Understand the coupon codes, the vouchers, the cashbacks, how to get the bulk orders through. That's going to change the game for you. That's what you're looking for. But there aren't resaturation problems. And why do you think I'm a big seller? I'm not that big, you know, at all. Even when in the UK, I wasn't that big. Like, all it takes is 6 sellers doing 500,000 a year when I was in my UK at the peak to be at the same level as me. And like I could reel off probably like 20 sellers doing 500,000 a year off the top of my head. It's not that much. And they would probably find the same deals. So it's not really a big problem. Hope that makes sense, Akil. Jack, thanks, man. Very insightful. I have a question. I'm a small UK VAT seller going VAT start of December. Any tips for finding replens, securing sites and getting VA's consistent profit? So if you are looking for okay, so if you're looking to get VAT registered, what you need to do, number one, update your repricer, not your repricer, your sourcing tool. So right now, with VAT settings, start sourcing to VAT standards. Obviously, you're not going to pay if it doesn't that. Now, number two is the fact that you're going to want to start collecting the invoices for your products you're purchasing, because you rebate the inventory value of the VAT on at the of VAT registration. Number three, collect your invoices for the services, because again, you can reclaim that at the point of VAT registration. Generally, your that about the internet connection problems, what's going on. So we'll see how that goes. You vanished. Yeah, sorry. I'm having big internet connection problems. Hopefully in Colombia next week, it'll be much better. Second thing for VAT registration is find suppliers whereby you have they are VAT registered. There's going to be a lot of suppliers who are what's known as VAT outside of the UK. You cannot reclaim that back at all, so do not do it. And then also as well, niching down is going to be where you need to go. Like if you're just doing random product sourcing now, it won't work. I promise you that. You need to niche down into categories. I can't stress that enough, because you need to understand, you need to build a competitive advantage against anyone else who's just generally sourcing, and anyone who's not VAT registered will have a competitive advantage against you. That's so important. Then the final one that I'd really recommend is just thinking about and then the other final top tip I recommend is when you are doing your purchasing in the order that you do on the OA sites, put in your company name in the order site. I've seen a lot of HMRC doing that in return inspections right now, whereby they say they will not honor the VAT, so you cannot reclaim it back, because they cannot prove that the company purchased it. They can only prove that your name was on it. And if your name's on it, then you could reclaim the VAT, even though you're not VAT registered. So put your company name in the address bar as well. That's going to be really, really important. So I hope that makes sense. Sorry for everyone joining. My internet's really bad. Again, drop your questions down below. I've got about another 10 minutes, and then also I'll answer them. So feed keeps crashing. Sorry, Adam, you're back. Yes, I'm back. Damn, enjoy Colombia. I know. I'm well looking forward to Colombia. It'd be good fun. If anyone wants to know, I did actually book it with my ex-girlfriend, but then we broke up, and I can't cancel the flights. So I was like, hey, I'm going to go anyway. So everyone was like, a single man in Colombia. I'll see what it's like. So we'll see how it goes. I'm going to Medellin, if anyone wants to know. So I'm just sorting out my short, medium, and long-term goals. Good. These are short-term, UK, 6 months away. Then move to wholesale for the final 6. Same for, don't do it. Adam, I like your thinking. I'm going to promise you right now, I did UK for 5 years, OA only. That's it. And the one bit of advice I'm going to offer you, do less, but do the less better. Honestly, do less, but do the less better. The difference between rich people and really, really rich people is the really, really rich people just do less, but they do it much better. And the more you hear people I'm going to do RA, I'm going to do wholesale, I'm going to do OA, I'm going to do all these things, all it is attention. And the more you split your attention, the less profit you're going to make. Alex Hormozy talked about it, and everyone I know is doing. So Alex Hormozy talked about it. He's like, when he first started becoming an entrepreneur, he had 9 different businesses, and he made nothing. And he said it wasn't until he cut it down to 2, and he said he should have done 1, that he actually really started making good money, really good money. And even when he made his 3rd business, his wife told him he was stupid. Literally, she was like, you're stupid. And he was like, you were right. He shouldn't have done it, even though he was successful because he worked damn hard. But do not split your attention. Focus, focus, focus. So if you're going to do RA, cool, just do RA. If you do OA, cool, just do OA. If you're going to do wholesale, just do that. Focus on that. But do it in one marketplace, focus, focus, focus. Or if you are going to do RA, OA, wholesale in multiple marketplaces, just do one brand, one type of product. Keep it simple. Focus, focus, focus. I cannot stress that enough. I hope that makes sense. Long term, no, don't. No. Honestly, Adam, I've been I like to think that I probably work quite hard, and you probably look at me and think maybe I do work hard. I've been in the reselling game now, I think, for at least 6 years, maybe 7. I had at my peak last year, I had 88 staff. Right now, we're about 40, and I have 2 companies right now. And even to this day, I am dropping messages to my operations manager in Fast Track FBA, going, "What can we cut? Because we need to focus on doing one thing better rather than doing more." And even within my Amazon USA business, I'm still asking my team, what can we stop doing? That's it. And I like to think I've got 20 years of management experience as of next year, 19 right now. So do less, Adam, do less, I promise you, but just do it better. What suppliers wholesale do you recommend? You can download our top 100 supplier list. We have the top 100 supplier list that will help you out. Or wholesale, just type in the brand name that you're looking for in wholesale in Google. That'll work really well. I think we're losing you again. I'm back. I'm vanished. I'm back. Hey. No, sorry, you broke up your girlfriend. It's all right. These things happen. But it's all right. It's the same thing as breaking up with your business. Your values, your behaviors, align at some points and they disappear. So, like this is part of life. It doesn't matter. But thank you for your concern, Adam. I appreciate that. What else have we got here? So it's the 80-20. You usually get 80% of the 20% work. Agreed. And by the way, like, I think I talked to someone about this the other day. It was like, one thing you need to understand is think about Amazon as the pie. The pie is still growing. So even if you were to still take a tiny section of the pie and focus on that, every year that tiny little section you've got is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, yeah, I did. I talked to someone about this last week, who joined the Seller Academy, and they were like, should I do? And I was like, no, one category, focus on that, get it done. And I gave them a good example. I was like, name the top 3 categories. And so they named some. I was like, fantastic. And I asked, and I said, right, I know someone in America in automotive, not the biggest category in the world. They currently do $200 million on Amazon. It's like $200 million. I know them. I've spoken to them. They're a friend on Facebook. And what's really fascinating is the fact that you're like, if I ever did $200 million on Amazon, or even $100 million on Amazon, that'd be incredible. That's a 9-figure business. And I'm like, that's one category. And in that category, there's so many little niches. And like you can have a very good quality of life on a $10 million a year business. By the way, you can have a very good quality of life on a $1 million a year business running at even just a 10% margin, 100,000 a year, that really efficiently run. And your job is not to do more. And I tell you this because I know it from my experience, is the fact that if you do 3.4 million, which is $4 million last year, like I did in the UK, and you're doing everything and anything, it's called literally a shitstorm. And it's massive, and it's lots of problems, and we're spending so much money. But I would much rather just like focused on one category, really know it, tighten up our buying processes, and got much better. And I can't stress that enough. And don't get me wrong, you are going to see shiny objects. This is life. When you get better at business, you have more and more shiny objects. And I promise you, you will see them. And your job is to keep batting the shiny objects away and continue to focus even more on where your expertise is. That's the key thing. Just do that and you will make more money than you'll ever possibly imagine. Do not separate your attention. That's the thing that's going to kill you. I promise you that. SJ, hi Tom. If you put the Liberty company name on the invoice, will the retailer potentially stop wanting to sell to you? Yes, 100%. This could be a very potential thing. 9 times out of 10, it won't impact you. You'll be fine. But if you put your company name on the retailer invoice, they could potentially cancel the order. But to be honest, they were probably going to cancel the order in 5 orders time anyway, because they don't do sell to resellers. But if you just put your company name on it, the one thing I do know for sure is that if HMRC ever investigate you, and by the way, I know quite a few people now have actually been investigated for VAT returns, then if you don't have it, then they will likely to reject all of the purchases that you made and say you cannot reclaim that 20% of VAT, and the net result is that you are going to be probably in multiple 5 figures worth of money that you've lost, which is incredible. So it's if you want to risk tens of thousands of pounds in VAT reclaims you can't get back, then be my guest. But I would just go find those suppliers that don't mind you putting the name on the invoice. That'd be my point. And then I think if I put it, and by the way, I'll give you a key indicator that we've seen in regards to people getting VAT returns, is whereby they've done something wrong and like they've probably purchased something from, I don't know, maybe it's like Stalvana, don't quote me, like some kind of one of these like European beauty brand or suppliers, which is really based in like Luxembourg or some weird country. And what they've accidentally done is just coded one of the invoices wrong. And they said it's UK VAT when it isn't, and they tried to claim it back. And HMRC said that's not right. And what they'll now do is come and investigate you. And when they investigate, they'll see there's lots of other invoices whereby those invoices aren't named in the company name, they're named in your personal name. And therefore, and what they're saying, because I've read the letters from HMRC, many of them, by the way, is saying that if the invoice is in your personal name, then you should claim the VAT back personally, and then the company can claim the VAT back off you. But the company cannot claim the VAT off the supplier because the company did not purchase the product. You purchased it as per the invoice, which is why it's like, oh my God, it's a nightmare. And this is why I've seen people with multiple tens of thousands of pounds of VAT reclaims being cancelled. So that's my advice. Hope that makes sense. This is excellent and honest as always. I've missed these and reminds me of the KISS, keep it simple, stupid. Yeah, and I'm stupid. Ladies and gentlemen, time is a-coming. Any final questions? Please, 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 please drop them down below. Do drop them down below. I think I've got one coming in. I'm going to do a little thing like, hey. Do a little selfie. Guys, if you're enjoying this, hit the like button. If you're really enjoying it, hit the share button. Share it socially. Tag me in it. I'll put me a story on Instagram. I don't really know. Let people know that I do these. Honestly, I do it because I like to help out, but also it's really good to share with you guys. So let me know. Jack Lewin said, just to clarify what you said earlier, you can reclaim VAT from the supplier that is overseas, like USA or UK, even if they have a UK VAT number or not. So again, I'm not a VAT expert, but from my understanding of it, let's be crystal clear. If the company you are purchasing from has a VAT number which starts GB, means that they have paid the VAT to the GB, Great British Government, or HMRC. And so therefore, if you have a GB VAT number, you can then reclaim it. But if the company that you are purchasing from does not have a VAT number which starts GB, maybe it starts DE for Germany or FR for France, then you cannot reclaim that VAT that you've paid if you have been charged VAT, by the way. You cannot reclaim it from the UK government because it was never paid to the UK government. Now, you might be asking, how does this actually, but then how do you get around this? Well, the correct way of dealing with this is the fact that if you are a UK business with the VAT registered in the UK and you are buying from a European, Germany or France, for example, VAT registered company, then what you can do is let them know, and they should have mechanisms to do this, whereby they will effectively charge you 0% VAT, which is called EC reverse charge, and then you'll declare that on your tax return. So you don't actually physically pay any VAT, but you will account for it. So therefore, there is no VAT to be reclaimed. So this is the way we trade across Europe. But your problem comes is that when you are buying from retail suppliers in Europe, they are not set up to do B2B transactions. And so therefore, they charge VAT in their local country, should we say Germany or France, and they will charge you German VAT or French VAT, for example. And you are a UK VAT registered company, so you haven't, the VAT was never paid to UK VAT HMRC, so therefore you cannot reclaim it back. So hope that makes sense. It's not easy. Generally, you don't have VAT problems with the USA, but it's generally within the European Union and with these suppliers. So that's the problem you get with retailers within the EU. They are not set up to do B2B, and therefore they do not do the VAT, the EC reverse charge VAT mechanism. And as a result, you will just be charged VAT anyway, but you are charged VAT you are charged VAT to their local government, not to your government, and therefore you cannot reclaim it, which is one of the key indicators that we've seen why and if you do try and reclaim it, then we've seen that's a commonality between those people who've been investigated by HMRC for their VAT returns because they've misclaimed, VAT from suppliers who are not registered in Great Britain. Again, speak to your accountant. I'm not a VAT advisor. That's my understanding. Tom, I've done 30k in sales and currently only sell in the UK, but having to go VAT registered and thinking about all these problems is making me consider keeping UK business under the VAT threshold. I'm not going to tell you the answer. It's up to you. There is no thing. The question I'm going to ask is two things. Number one, where do you want to be in 10 years' time? And if it's still under the VAT threshold, then cool, stay there. But if it isn't, then you just have to break through it. It's kind of like, Tom, you're telling me about I'm in high school right now, it sounds great, and going to work looks like really scary, so I'm thinking about staying in high school for the rest of my life. It's not an option. So if you want to go bigger, you're going to have to break through it. But number two, what can I really recommend? Go on Facebook, go into my YouTube channel. There is a guy called Daniel Gilmore. Just type in his name into my channel in the videos. There are two videos. One that I recorded with him before VAT registration, and he had exactly the same mindset. And then he chose to go through, and we recorded another video a year later when he went through it, and he talked through that as well. So do not take me. Go follow someone who actually has been there and done it. By the way, you can reach out to him. He's still in the group and see what happens. So I hope that makes sense. But great question. Gaza J, does being VAT registered mean you lose 20% of profits? No. Generally, it's about 8%. Don't quote me. I've heard that number being thrown around, so I generally share it as well. So I haven't actually done the math, but I'd say 8%. Long story short is you have to pay, it's not 20% technically, it's 16.6 because it's 20% of the amount you pay. So it's 16.6 off the top, but then also as well, you get to reclaim it's like 20%, 16.6 on the bottom. So when you average them out and you save money on some of your costs, you generally lose about 8%. Don't quote me on that one. That's a number that I've heard, but that's generally the kind of consideration. So I hope that makes sense. Facebook user says understood. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it. That is time. I'm going to say a really big thank you to you all. If you've enjoyed this, please hit the thumbs up. If you really liked it, give me a comment down below. Maybe let me know some more videos I should create. And if you absolutely love it and you think it's amazing, please share it on social media. Tag me in it, and I will reshare it as well to say thank you so much for recognizing, obviously, that I can help you out with this. And come join me again next week. But for me, next week I'll be in Colombia, and obviously I will be joining you. So I hope to obviously catch up with you soon and obviously go from there. But hey, stay safe, keep smashing the business, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.